Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So in today's video I'd just like to give you a bit of consumer advice, if you will, just regarding a new bike purchase that I made going back a couple of months. I thought it'd be useful for anybody out there that finds themselves in a similar position that I was in going back a little while. So let's get into it. Okay, so to give you a bit of an insight, my son Elliot is now 11. He is maybe 4'9", 4'10" tall, something like that. And he desperately needed a new mountain bike. He was coming from I think it was a 20-inch wheel Giant, which was far too small for him. You know, he's been needing a new bike for quite a while. So being the age and height that Elliot is at the moment, or was when I bought the bike, he was kind of in between sizes, if you like. He was kind of on the, on the upper edge of the kids' bikes, but he was kind of just below, the small adult bikes. So it was one of those situations where you could go for the upper edge kids' bikes and have something that was suitable for the short term, or you could go for the smaller adult bikes, but then there's that risk that he wouldn't enjoy riding it because it's just too big, because they're not, small adult bikes aren't made for kids, and I didn't want him to have that experience. I wanted him to have something that he felt comfortable on, because if you're not comfortable on it, you're not going to enjoy riding it, and it's not going to be fun. But the predicament that I was in was one that if I got him a run-of-the-mill kids bike, like a 24-inch wheel kids bike, or maybe even a 26, there's a chance that he was likely to outgrow that very quickly. It would have been fine now, and maybe for a year, 18 months, something like that. But I was nervous about spending, a reasonable sum of money on a bike that he was going to outgrow very quickly. So I started to look around and do a little bit more research, and I found that Orbea were doing kids-specific bikes, but they had put a lot more thought into it than a lot of the other companies that I was checking out. So what Orbea decided to do was to take their extra small frames, chuck on some big chunky wheels, but scale down all those contact points. So all those contact points, that's important for the kid to be comfortable and confident with, they were all made for them. And the wheels specifically were 27.5-inch wheels, and like I said, the extra small frame, it really gives a fair bit of future proofing. So as Elliot grows and he gets taller, the bike is able to cope with that. It can just absorb his extra height, and I really like that. I like the fact that they put more thought into it. It's going to do him for quite a few years, unless he prangs it. But there's a warranty, there's a guarantee, right? Yeah, so it should be fine. It'll be fine. Because I could have just gone out and bought him a 24-inch wheel orange Crush, which would have been fine now, and then in 12 months later I would have had to have sold that and maybe got him a 26-inch wheel bike, and then maybe another 18 months after that I would have had to have sold that and then buy a 27.5-inch wheel bike, perhaps. I mean, I know that you can sort of chop and change things, to suit, but I don't want that hassle. I want to get him something that he can ride now and be comfortable with the smaller levers, easy access because of the saddle, and those comfortable pedals. I wanted something that he could ride now, and then in 2 years' time he can still ride and still enjoy. So that's why I went with Orbea. So I'll whip the bike out and I will take you through it. Okay, so here it is. This is an Orbea MX27 XS XC. It's a 27.5 inch wheel bike with an extra small frame, so there's plenty of growing room for the child. So I shall just reel off some specs for you, because like when I did the video for the Norco, I've really got no idea. Right, so it is an Orbea MX alloy frame. It's really light actually, which is good for getting it either into and out of a car or onto a roof rack or anything like that. Piece of cake, really nice and light. It's got a SR Centaur XCT front fork with 100mm of travel. So he's got the same amount of travel that I've got. It's such a sweet looking bike, isn't it? I went for a hardtail because I thought that's the best kind of starter point for him, really. It's got an alloy forged 22x36 crankset. Yeah, the handlebars are 720mm wide. They're aluminium also. It's got Shimano MT200 hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear. That was a definite must for me. I didn't want any of these V brakes or anything like that. Oh, you know, I wanted him to have something that was as good as it could possibly be, but without, you know, completely draining the finances. Shimano shifters and levers. It's got this lockout switch on the front forks actually. This little switch here. So that should help him with the climbs, just make them a little bit more efficient. It's got a Sunrace CSM 989 9-speed cassette. Both front and rear derailleurs are Shimano also, as is the chain. Wheel wise, they are Orbea Black Rock wheels. Very black. It's running Kenda K1153 tyres with a 2.35 inch profile on them. They're pretty chunky, really. I think on my Norco, I think mine are 2.25s, I think, so mine are a little bit slimmer. It's just a nice looking bike. And I love the fact that it's an extra small frame with the big 27.5 inch wheels. You know, it's got plenty of room for him to grow into. But it's really nice to see a company doing kid-specific bikes that actually take into account, you know, the kids themselves, and just scaling down, you know, the important bits. Because as I said earlier, they scale down the brake levers for their smaller hands, and the pedals are slightly smaller, and they slim down the seat as well. So it just makes it easier, you know, for the smaller people to pilot, rather than chucking them on a smaller adult bike and, you know, and them just not enjoying it. You know, they can have the size of a small adult bike, but, you know, all the connection points, you know, are tailor-made for them, really. But it's great. I'd highly recommend checking them out if you're in the market for a new bike for a small one. You can also get this as a slightly different frame shape. It's called an entrance model, and on their website it shows that as just ENT. So basically what that is this top tube here. It's got a bit of a kink in it, so it meets slightly lower down just to aid getting on and off the bike. But I love the thought that's gone into it, and I love the fact that it's kind of future-proofed for him. So there you go. It's just so nice to see a company that are taking into account the fact that kids have smaller fingers and smaller feet. you know, just because they're kids doesn't mean they shouldn't have something that's tailored to them. I mean, as adults, we're lucky because we've got, you know, we've got plenty to pick from. When it comes to kids' bikes, they grow out of them so quick, and they're not cheap. So if you can buy something that is tailored specifically for them, it's a no-brainer. But it's such a nice bike. Well, you know, all the components, they all seem, you know, really nicely made. You know, it just feels like a good quality piece of kit. So, looking forward to the spring and the summer, because at the moment, it's been, the last, well, couple of months actually, it's been absolutely gross here. It's been so wet, and to be honest, when I've been out, it kind of takes the fun out of it. So I don't really want him to, you know, for his first couple of rides out on his new bike, to just be a drag for him. You know, I want him to go out and really enjoy being out on it, because he's been out on it sort of around some tracks, but before we sort of pop down to the cycle centre at Canup or anything like that, or even a bit further afield, I want him to just, you know, really enjoy being on it. So I hope somebody out there has found this little video useful. If I was looking for something now, you know, being able to listen to somebody else's experience and reasons for going for a certain make or model, you know, that's quite valuable. So I thought it was worth sticking it out there. So thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to check me out on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at HarrisMTB. Subscribe to the channel if you're not doing so already. Please like and share the video, and I will see you in the next one.